Okay. Let's keep it coming. Thank you, guys. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Are you able to see their charts though? I can't see the charts, can you?
Click on the charts option there on your, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, of course I can see that. I can see the charts for sure. I'm just asking for. Of course I can see the charts. Allow me, are you able to see that? Are you able to see what they're writing?
Yeah,
okay.
Now they're posting to everyone, so that's fine. Only Juwon posted to me directly, but every other person are posting to everyone.
I can only.
You posted to me
directly. Was that to you directly?
Yes, Juwon and Dale, you posted directly, but please choose everyone. Yeah.
I've been Bola now.
Okay, I get.
Was MFM, MBA. Okay, so what does this mean? MFM, what does this mean? Abimbola. I hope everybody can still hear me. Or am I just talking to myself?
So in Bello, if you want to rewrite yours and send to everyone, you're sending to me directly. McNeil, same thing.
Okay. All right. So we have people here from property background. We have people here from that are architects. So we've got people here that are mental health practitioner, customer advisor, IT invoice, someone healthcare professional from Germany. Okay, that's all right. So has any one of you been in project management before? Any one of you? Somebody said IT novice, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. I'm happy, well done. And I'm happy you could do, you can say that, so that's fine. All right. Science teacher. Okay, that's fine. All right, I'll give you a little bit of the background of myself. I hope everyone, should we just leave it there because of time now? I know it's 9:25 now. Have we gotten almost everybody? Allow me, is that almost everyone?
Yes, I think more of the APMs are posting than others, but it's fine. Some other people are posting, but really it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm happy with what you've all written out, and I'm happy that every one of you has been able to say where you are, what you've done, and what you want to learn, and those that have no background to IT have also voiced it out, and I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm very happy with that. So my background is the background of someone that wasn't a project manager before or a business analyst before, and I got into project management because somebody introduced me to it, just as some of you do. And when I have a background of perhaps investment banking in a little bit. I'm also into music, and I'm also into teaching, just as some of you have said. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't go to uni to study project management. No. But because I made up my mind when I was told about it, I made up my mind that I can do this thing, I want to do it. I gave it all. And as I started it, I'm happy. I've never looked back. I've never looked back. I realized that it comes natural with me. Project management comes natural with me. So I'm an agile project manager. I'm a delivery manager. I'm a coach. I'm a program manager. And I've been doing this now for years. I've had the privilege to work with various banks in the UK, like I would say to people. And I've had the privilege to also work with organizations that are not even banks, and even worked with government organizations. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of some of you that might be scared and that might feel overwhelmed to feel, what am I getting into? How will I be able to go through that? And some of you would think, oh, I think it will be difficult. I think it's tough. I think it might be rough. There is nothing good in this life that is hunky-dory. There is nothing good in this life that is just 1+1. You've got to be willing to give it all it takes. You've got to be willing to learn. And that's just the attitude for it. If you're willing to learn, then there's nothing that you cannot achieve. All right? So I've given you that background so that you would know that what you want to learn is no rocket science. Not at all. And based on some of the things, for some of you that maybe would have heard me talk before, there are many good things that come with project management or with agile delivery management. When you talk of agile delivery management, when you talk of project managers, there are interrelated things that you will find here. All right? Let me try to share my screen. Can you see my screen, guys? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So if you look at this, you would see that the other time I tried to, when we talk of an agile delivery manager, would say, what does it mean? Who is an agile delivery manager? He's a skilled person that focuses on making things happen. And we all make things happen, don't we? Don't we? This person is responsible for ensuring that their teams have everything that they need to succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not the one doing the job. You are there to enable people to be able to do their jobs. What did I say?
You're not
I
there to
want
do
you
the
guys to
job.
talk to me.
You're not
Yes.
there
You
to
are there
do
to
the job.
enable
You're there
people to do the
enable
job.
people to do the job.
Fantastic. So I am not training you to become a developer. No, I am not training you so that you become to take the role of somebody that is meant to be doing the job. They do the job. You get your hands dirty by making it possible for them to do their job and making life easy. So the moment you understand this process and you are able to take it in, it helps you, it liberates you. Some of the anxieties, some of the things that will get you anxious to feel, oh my God, will I be able to do it? Will I be able to do it? It's not as though those things would not come, but when you have the mindset to say, I am here to enable people to do what they are supposed to do, it would make life easier for you. You are great at managing stakeholders, not just the team. You manage everybody, every stakeholders, everybody that has one or two things to do. You're great at managing them and across multiple departments so that you can remove impediments. You can make life easy for people that are doing the work. Now, you would see the difference between an agile delivery manager and a scrum master. I would explain that to you as we go on, okay? So you would see that it means, you're taking iterative, incremental, and lean approach to streamline and accelerate delivery of projects. Those are loaded words, right? They need to be unpacked. As we go on, they will get you unpack it. If anything is not clear, let me know. So when we talk of you taking iterative, incremental, and lean approach, the reason we say those words is because we're saying you don't need to do everything at the same time. Does this make sense? Does this make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Yes,
don't need to
yes.
do everything at the same time. We want to deliver iteratively, incrementally, putting whatever we have delivered. We want to make sure that we test the last one with this one, and they are all working together. And then we want to make sure that we remove waste. When we talk about lean approach, what we're talking about is process where we remove waste. Who can tell me what are some of the waste that you can find in a project? Can anyone tell me? What are some of the wastes that can be in projects?
Time, I think.
Pardon?
Time wasting.
How? Thank you. Time wasted. How?
Yeah,
How do we waste time?
when people are not coordinated on what to do, so they are available to do a project, but nobody wants, like they're just loafing around and just standing. Nobody's getting anything done. So yes, the people are there, but they are not working. So that's time wasted.
Okay,
Doing
so
nothing.
they're just there, they're folding their arms, not doing anything. Is that what that means, right? They're
Yes,
just
that's what
folding
I
their
think. Yeah.
arms. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we
Thank you
can
for that.
call it.
And that can
Yes,
happen. Yes, truly.
yes,
that
we
can
can
happen.
call it. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, we
please.
can call it idle time as well.
Okay, idle time. Okay, thank you. Any other person?
Waste of resources.
Yeah, I was going to say
How?
that.
How?
Waste of resources.
What do you mean by waste of resources?
Waste of resources can be referred to in a situation, for example, where a project also experienced scope creep as a result of not having the necessary or knowing the necessary requirement needed, of which they put in use. At the end of it, it doesn't bring out or deliver the value for which it was meant for, and it cannot be retrieved at the end of the production process.
Okay, I think there are two things you've said there. Okay, and I hear you. You spoke about resources and you also spoke about scope, right?
Yes.
So,
So
okay.
I want to mention with regards
Yeah.
in relation to time.
when projects are not planned with, time frame in terms of when and how that will be delivered in bits, we're meeting with deadline, then there's bound to be time wasted in that. Yeah, a lot of time would just fly without having a deadline to meet up with projects. So.
Okay, so you mean if we don't plan,
yes, with
if we
strict
don't plan,
deadlines,
then we will waste time because we didn't plan. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. Anything else?
It could actually
I would
be
also-
duplicating processes.
What do you mean process? What do you mean duplicating processes?
So for example, there might be repeated process. Okay, so within a project, there will be different teams that are involved in the project delivery. So there will be times that a process is already a particular process or step is already covered by one team and is also duplicated, whereas they could just work together in collaboration to share the information that they've already gathered and reduce the time being wasted or used on that's with another team trying to achieve the same thing that has been covered by another team. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I love that. That's very good. Well done. Somebody else wants to say something. Yes.
I would just also add waste of personnel resource. So when you don't adequately utilize members of your team to bring out the best in them,
Okay.
to use them to their maximum strength, that could also be a form of waste since you're not utilizing members of the team to their maximum potential.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Does anybody else have something different to that?
Yes, I believe we can also talk about bulk repair. Can also be
Bugs.
waste. Yes, and also overproduction.
Overproduction. You said bugs and
Yeah.
overproduction,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
so unpack that for us, please. What does that mean?
When we talk about overproduction, I think we are referring to a situation, for example, when a plant going out of the designated plan of what has to be produced in relation also to quantity. And maybe another example of a bulk or defect can be producing an increment that actually will not meet the definition of done because resources have already been used or materials have been used, either in the agile model or for process of management.
Okay. So you spoke about birds and then you spoke about overproduction. Okay, no problem. Somebody is raising his or her hand. Can you see there are two people?
Yeah.
Raised. That's
I was
Tosin
going
and
to.
Justin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I was also going to talk about when a project is being manually carried out and when, whereas it can actually be, we can optimize productivity by using automated systems. Yeah, so that could also result into wasting of time. Okay.
Okay, I love that. All right. So now I love what everyone has said, and there are a couple of things that you raised here. Someone spoke about time. If we don't plan well, then it could result into us. If we don't have timeline, we don't have a frame for whatever we want to deliver, it could result into wastage. Then we spoke about resources. Somebody said we could waste resources and things like that. And someone else spoke about scope creep. You also spoke about duplicating efforts, isn't it? that we could duplicate processes, thereby wasting time. And someone spoke about bugs and overproduction, and another person spoke about automation. Guys, everything that you've said now, is what a delivery manager or an agile project manager needs to manage. Are we clear? Are we clear? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes.
Everything that you have mentioned now, you've spoken about time, resource management, you've spoken about scope management, you've spoken about duplication of efforts, you've spoken about bugs, and also you've spoken about automation. These are the things that a delivery manager or an agile project manager needs to manage. And these are some of the things that we will get into as we go along in this training. All right. So when we talk about lean, one of the other ways that we waste time in project management, that you can waste time in delivering anything, do you know it? Is by signing. You know that there are many times that we say, oh, except this person signs, except that person signs, except, I'm sure most of you here have lived in Nigeria, right? Is that correct? Most of you here have lived in Nigeria.
Yes.
I know some of you might not have,
very correct.
but most people here have lived in Nigeria. So do you know what it means when you take a file to a ministry in Nigeria and only 3 people are just supposed to sign the form or to just sign, but those 3 people that will sign the form could stay with them for 3 years. Do you know that?
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes you may never see the file again. It gets to some people's office and the file will disappear. I'll give you an example. There was a time, all these things that people are talking about, oh, they have capability to make this, what do we call? What is it that Iran has capability for? What do we say they have capability for?
Nuclear
What are we
weapons.
fighting?
Nuclear
What are we
weapons.
fighting? Not North Korea, nuclear weapons, right? Do you know that Nigeria we bought something a while ago that has capability for that? Many years ago. Do you know that?
No.
Do you know why it would never work? Do you know why it would never work? Bureaucracy. Because we're thinking, no, you can't, because there are 2 parts. One part would come first, the second part would come later. So the first part came, they left it in Lagos. When the second part was coming, guess where they said it must go? Guess where they said it must go? They said it must go to the north. It must go to the north. I don't want to mention city. I don't want to mention states. The first one has been in Lagos now for many years. The second part of it that will make it work has gone to the north. Will it ever work, guys?
Never.
Bureaucracy. This is one of the wastages. This is one of the things that a delivery manager, an agile project manager wants to remove in every project. As much as possible, we want to remove what we call legs. We want to remove bureaucracy. And that's why you see the word agile project manager. Because a typical project manager does not bother with that. A typical project manager actually wants to encourage that. Do you know why? Why do you think a typical project manager will want to encourage that? Do you know why?
Because they would like to have everything done in order and follow process.
Exactly, and he wants to be in control. And many times they want to appear to be very busy. In project management, guys, what you do, all of you that are on this call, I want to tell you, 90% of your job, 80% of your job will be meetings upon meetings. You'll be going from one meeting to another. From as I'm talking to you now, guys, I am still in the office. As I'm talking to all of you, I've left my house since morning. I have gone out, I've had to come back because there is an event that I need to know about, and I must be a part of it. Does that make sense? The reason an organization needs you is because they want somebody to be able to remove those legs. Many organizations are now tired of wastage. They are tired of wasting money. They are tired of people saying, except ABC signs, this cannot move to the next level. How are we trying to make that go away now? In waterfall, what we normally do in waterfall, I'm going to show you. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Can everybody see my screen? What does this say to you? What does this picture say to you? When you see this picture, what does it say to you?
Step-by-step process.
Step-by-step process. Okay. What else can you see apart from the step-by-step process? What else can you guys see?
One after the other.
One after the other.
The flow of the system.
The
They are
flow of the
connected.
system. What can you see on the flow of the system?
They're all connected.
Limited collaboration.
Limited collaboration. Okay. Apart from that, what else can you see?
One process
I
will
want
be
to see how you guys
completed
can do.
before another.
You have to complete one process first before you move to the next.
Fantastic.
And that takes time.
One cannot do without the other.
Okay. So on the very right side, you guys you've only focused on the left side. You didn't look at the right side at all. What can you see on the right side?
Waterfall.
Yeah?
The waterfall.
What's happening on the waterfall? What can you tell me? What are the characteristics of this waterfall? What are the
Pouring
characteristics?
down.
It's
continuous
continuous
what?
falling down.
It's pouring
Okay.
down.
When it goes down, can it go back up again?
No.
Linear progression.
Fantastic. And that's what you've seen here, that one has to finish to go to the other. You have to get approval from one. You want to do feasibility studies, right? We must finish it before we go into requirement analysis and specification. We want to finish that, get approval, get a sign off before we go to design. We get a sign off in design before we now start to code, before we now start to test. We get approval from that before we now start to integrate the system and doing system SIT. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
So what do you think can go wrong in this, guys? What do you think can go wrong in this process?
Everything.
What do you mean everything?
So if you get it wrong from the top, I suppose because it's linear, you'll probably get it wrong at the bottom. If the error is not picked up early, everything will be wrong until it gets to the bottom.
But can you go back to fix it?
No, it'll be hard.
Changes cannot be made.
You have to manage it.
That's the problem. And that's the problem. So, and that's why tonight I'm going to show you some pictures and we're going to deal with it later. All right. See, guys, waterfall methodology was introduced by a US military man in 1910. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
When was it introduced? It was introduced in 1910 by a military, by a general in US Army. Do you know why they introduced it? They introduced it because of the Second World War. First World War, sorry. Even for that, it didn't work. They lost it. Even for that, it didn't work. So if it didn't work, for that at that time, how do you think it's going to work in this age? If it didn't work that time, how do you think it's going to work now? Guys? The person created it for the military to say, when we finish this stage, make sure you get approval before you move to the next one. Make sure you get approval before you move to the next one. Now, they didn't think well because the people they were fighting were better than them. You want to fight the Germans at that time that were very creative with what they were doing, that they were watching the steps you make before they take a step. Okay, what war are we fighting today in our world? Tell me, guys, what war are we fighting now? You and I. What war do you think we're fighting?
Evolution of technology.
Pardon?
Evolution of technologies.
Evolution of technology. So what does that mean? Can anybody unpack that for me? What does it mean?
I am referring to technologies are being developed on daily basis that also goes along with adaptation of management of processes in different industries in the world.
Thank you for
I think
that.
it means artificial intelligence.
Okay, that's part of it. So technologies evolve every day. Can you count how many apps we have out there?
Countless.
Can you guys count how many applications that are there?
It's like this stars in the sky.
I think typically there's an application for everything. Right now, there is something that has come up now. I don't know if you guys, I know you all know about ChatGPT and all, but you know now that we've started to use artificial intelligence now to be able to capture somebody's voice, a musician's voice. I will write a song and I will capture somebody's voice and enforce that person's voice on the song that I've written, and it will sound exactly like that person. How many of you have heard the one that was made for Michael Jackson? There is something that was done for Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson died many years ago now, right? But there's an album that has just been released for Michael Jackson. Exactly Michael Jackson voice. Somebody else wrote the lyrics.
It looks like we've lost him. Is it just me?
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Can you
we
guys
lost
hear me?
Now we can. Now we can.
I can hear you again. Yeah.
Oh, where did you stop hearing me, please?
Michael Jackson.
For Michael Jackson. Okay, I said that there's a new release that was made for Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson died many years ago. Somebody wrote a song and enforced Michael Jackson's voice, and everything about Michael Jackson is what you'll find in the music. Everything, all his gesticulation and everything, you'll find it in the music. Have you all heard about the one for Dre? Did you hear that, guys?
No.
Okay.
I've not heard of it.
You've not heard.
I've heard for Tupac and Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, fantastic. So there is one made for Dre as well. So you just sit in your living room. You can imagine somebody like, give me an artist, a popular artist. Give me any popular artist, guys.
Tina Turner.
Tina Turner. You can imagine Tina Turner that is just sitting in a sitting room, in a living room, and somebody is playing Tina Turner's voice, and Tina Turner never wrote the song or the music, and she never sang the song. But they are just playing her music, and she can hear her voice, and she wasn't the one that sang. But that's her voice, and she never wrote the song. That's where technology is going in the world. So things are growing sporadically. Things are growing at an alarming rate that what works yesterday may not work today anymore. I was just telling someone at work, man. So tell me, can anybody, where's BlackBerry today? Where's BlackBerry? Does any of you still use BlackBerry?
It's gone down.
Does any of you still use Nokia? Do you still use Nokia?
No.
Why? What happened to them?
Outdated.
Why? Why did it go outdated?
New technology.
Because the new functionalities have taken over from what it could do.
Okay, there's one thing that has happened to them, and that thing is change. All right? People have changed the way they work. The way we used to work will not suit into what is happening in the world right now. And that's why we need people that can deliver, that can think out of the box, that can work iteratively. That's why somebody like you will be trained, and organizations will be willing to pay you £500 per day. They will be willing to pay you £700 per day because you know what it means for them to be able to work iteratively so they wouldn't miss, so they wouldn't lose and mess up what is going on. So everything that we used to do is not that we don't do them anymore. It's not that we don't do feasibility studies anymore. It's not that we do not do requirement analysis anymore. We do it. But the difference now is we do it iteratively. What did I say?
Doing it.
Iteratively.
Doing things iteratively.
We do it iteratively. So as a project manager, there are three things. There are three important things. A delivery manager, a project manager, whoever it is, scrum master, whatever your role is, there are three important things that you need to manage. But a scrum master may not bother about the cost. But when it comes to timeline, when it comes to scope, you need to be bothered with it. So as a delivery manager, as an agile project manager, you have what we call the triple constraints that are critical for you to manage. That is the time, the cost, and the scope of the project. The time, the cost, and the scope of the project. And that's why some of you have said, there are 10 knowledge areas that we'll still go through, but these three are very critical. You need to learn to manage the costs. What do I mean by the costs? The budgets for the projects. Why do you need to manage the budget?
So they don't go over.
So it doesn't go over. If it goes over, what's going to happen?
Stoppage.
Debt.
Stoppage. And then
Yes, but in different categories. It may cost the organizations much more than what it should cost them. Some of you mentioned the other time, you said resources. Now, I love it when somebody said some resources. There are some people that may get to work and they wouldn't really be doing what they are supposed to be doing. It is you as a project manager, as a delivery manager, it is your responsibility to kick them in the back. When I say kick, not literally, but to make sure you push everybody to get what they are supposed to do done, but in a polite way, in a good way. Does that make sense? Why is time criticality important when we talk of project management? Why do you think time is critical? Why do you think time is critical?
Because it will run smoother if it's on the timeline that it's meant to be on.
It will run smoother. Okay, run smoother. Okay, anybody else? Why is time important to us?
Because time is a resource that once lost can be gained again. So almost every project is time bound. So you want to maximize the time for that project.
Okay.
The time lost cannot be gained back.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Thank you.
Time is what it.
Pardon?
Time is a great determinant to production in resources, allocation of resources, and also in delivery.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Please say.
Yeah, what I'm just gonna say is just like you said earlier, that the three elements to project management: the cost, the scope, and the delivery. I mean, the timeline. So for every project, there's a timeline. So definitely, we all have a timeline that we are all working towards. So if you can't make that timeline, so number one, that means the project manager has failed at that point. So timeline is key, as you mentioned earlier.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
I was going to say that.
Okay, let me continue. I want to add, with the way the technologies are now evolving, if possible, before your product comes into market, it's already outdated if you do not meet the timeline for the product.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that. I love that. Anybody else?
Quite similar to what she said, that is actually the time that determines the outcome of the project, the productivity level, and the success rate is also measured by time. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, let me tell you, thank you very much for that. Let me tell you, if you are supposed to deliver a project in 6 months, and that project gets extended to 1 year, it's not just the time that is the problem. What else do you think is going to be affected?
The cost.
The cost. Let me tell you, I'll give you an example. All right. I have a project. And on my project, let's say I have 20 people working under me as a delivery manager, because as a delivery manager, I'm not just managing one project. As a delivery manager, I could have like 3 projects where I could have Scrum Masters actually working under me. So, but I'm responsible for planning end-to-end of the resources and the costs and everything. And this project is meant to finish in 6 months, but this project has now gone to 1 year. And I have 20 people working. And for each of them, the average, let's say the average that I pay them on a daily basis is 650, 700 pounds per day for 20 people. Can anybody tell me how much is that? If I pay 700, let's say I pay 700 per day on average, because I have contractors, I have people that are costing me over 1,000 pounds per day. And I have people that are costing me 600 pounds per day. So on an average, let's say averagely, how many days do we work in a month? How many days do you work in a month? Talk to me, guys. I want this to be very, very practical.
Between 22 to
20 and 25 days. 22.
Okay, let's say 22 days. We have 20 days normally, but let's even say 22 days, okay? Let's say 22 days, and I have 700 pounds per day times 20. 700 times 20. Every day they cost me 14,000. So let's say 14,000 times 22. What's that per month? How much is that?
308,000.
308,000 times 6. How much is that?
1.848 million.
If I don't manage the timeline effectively as a delivery manager, as an agile project manager, and it now gets to become 12, what do you think is going to happen?
Lose your game.
The price is doubled.
How much does it become? 3.696. Can you see that?
Right. Yeah.
That's the reason they are willing to pay you. That's what they want you to manage for them. Because they know that there are some developers, there are some testers that are very lazy and laid back. Except somebody makes them do what they are supposed to do. For example, somebody has a blocker, and rather than the person coming to tell somebody, oh, I'm blocked, I need this, the person keeps quiet, sends an email. The person he sends emails to has not read it for the past 2-3 days. So after 4 or 5 days, the person read it, said, oh, why can't you do this? I can't do it because I'm blocked. Why are you blocked? Because so person has not responded to me. Oh, have you said, oh, I emailed, when? 4 days ago. If there's a delivery manager that is effective, what do you think is going to happen? Will that happen?
No.
It would chase down the department and then get in contact with them to so that they
That
sort
same
it out.
day, yes, it will make sure it gets sorted. That's the reason some of the ceremonies that you see that we do in Agile, in Scrum, the reason we do those ceremonies, they are not just there for the sake of events. We do them for the things that they give to the organization, for the ability they give it to. In traditional project management, we don't know what happens many days. I have seen somebody that was waiting for a response for 3 months before. Guys, I got to an organization and I asked them, and they told me they've been doing a project for the past 2 years and they couldn't get something resolved. And I started to probe and I started to ask what's happening. And there was a guy that was meant to work on their database. And that guy said he has been waiting for something for the past 3 months. Pardon? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it happens.
For the past 3 months.
Yeah.
But he gets paid every day when it comes to work. Who is losing?
The organization.
The organization is losing. That's why they need you. They need you to be able to manage the timeline, that the timeline does not go beyond what it's supposed to be. It's not just that they are losing money. Somebody said something the other time. They are going to lose competition. Let me ask you this. Somebody, maybe, it's your birthday now. And for those of you that are not yet married, or even for those of you that are married, your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, it's your birthday. And they want to package something very nice to you. And they just package, they wrap up a very nice iPhone 5. And they give it to you, iPhone 5. If you open it, they tell you, open it, and you open. And it's iPhone 5 or iPhone 4S. How are you going to feel? Talk to me.
Gutted.
Excited.
You feel excited.
In
For
this
iPhone
day and
4S.
age, you feel disappointed.
For iPhone 4S.
Oh,
iPhone 4S.
iPhone 4S. Oh,
You
really?
feel disappointed.
I did hear that. I'll
iPhone
be
4S.
disappointed. I do, yeah.
You feel unhappy.
If they give you iPhone 4S or they give you iPhone 5, would you love it?
They should be giving you 14 Pro Max.
I'll be
You are
expecting
looking for
14
what?
Pro Max.
They
Yeah.
should be giving you 14 Pro Max.
Okay, let me say this to you. How will it feel if Apple has been working on iPhone 6 Plus for the past 6 years? They have not released it. They've been working to make it good since 6 years ago. Apple has been working on, 6 Plus. If they just bring it out newly now, the 6 plus, what would the market be?
Samsung would have taken over.
Dead on arrival.
Thanks. They would have lost
Dead on arrival.
competitor.
It's dead on arrival. It doesn't matter how, don't you know how much it would have cost them? It would have cost them so much money. Yes, it will not be valuable to customers anymore. Because customers have moved on. Listen, customers' expectations have changed. They keep changing on a daily basis. And that's why every organization now wants to be customer-centric. Customer centricity is at the heart of everything that you was telling you the other time. Oh, you want to use this tool. Oh, you want to use, the reason we're using Python, the reason we're using Java, the reason we're using all of those tools, the reason we're using them is to be able to write codes. And many of those things, they are being written now on what we call EDA, event-driven architecture, that will be more customer-centric, that can relate to customers, that can react to customer needs better than ever before. A delivery project manager, an agile project manager must be able to manage time. You must be able to manage costs. If we don't have a budget, everything will look good. Everything will look as it should. It means people have open-ended check. And nobody can operate business like that. Our budget can be dynamic, but it doesn't mean you wouldn't have a budget. Now, there is something that is critical in it, and that's the scope. What do I mean by scope? What does that mean to you guys? When we say scope, what does it mean?
Scope is referring to a defined roadmap of the project.
Pardon? Say that again. What does scope mean to you? When we say scope.
A defined roadmap of a project.
Defined roadmap. Okay.
I
Does
can
everybody
also
agree
say
with
that areas to be covered.
Areas to be covered. Oh, good. Anybody else? What does scope mean to you? What does scope mean to you?
The range of the project.
The goals. The range of what? So, guys, talk. I want you to be bold.
The range of the project, general overview of the project.
Okay, all right.
The objective of the project.
Okay, good.
The
You all have an
boundaries.
idea. Exactly, good. So when we say scope, I'll give you an example, okay? I want to have a wedding, all right? And I know that there are people that are very good with sandwiches. And I know that there are people that are good with making jollof rice. I know that there are people that are good with making some other African food. All right? And I know that there are people that are good at making suits, nice shirts, lovely shirts. So if I want to have a wedding, I must know how many people I want to give food to caterers to say, I want XYZ. I want jollof rice. I want fried rice. I want chicken. I want fish. And I want, let's say I want some swallows as well. Now, will I just say to them that I want food? Will I go to a caterer and say, I'm planning a wedding, I want food? Is that what I'm going to say?
No.
What am I going to say?
Then the number of
the number of guests expected.
The number of
Go
what?
into the details.
The number of expected guests. I want to have a wedding. I am expecting 100 people. I want you to make jollof rice. I want you to make fried rice. I want you to make So, will I just say make that for every 100 person? Would I say that?
So,
what will I say?
You give a proposed number of
a specific number.
I can say, can you make me pounded yam for 50 people? Can you make me jollof rice for 50 people? Can you make me fried rice for 50 people? Can you make me whatever it is? Give me any other name, whatever you can name. What do you think?
Jollof rice.
Yes. Can you make me for 70 people? Can you make me? And they would now, based on that, calculate it. For example, don't forget, I said I want jollof rice for 50 people. I want fried rice for 50 people. I want white rice for 50 people. That makes how many?
150.
150. Am I expecting 150 people?
No.
No.
I'm only expecting 100. So in that context, you would see that the person would ask me questions, but you said you're only expecting 100. This is 150 already. Then I can tell him, oh, the 50 is for contingency. Or, okay, then let's make it 50-50. Let's make this 50, let's make 40-40, and let's make 10. Or let's make this 20-20-20. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Now, if I give the contract to the person to say, make 50 jollof rice, make 50 white rice, make 50 fried rice, and the person said, oh, when I cooked the fried rice was so tasty. I decided to make 100 people's fried rice. What has that person done?
Out of scope.
Huh?
The person has practiced out of scope, out of the proposed desire
Out of scope.
Out of
Yes.
budget.
The person has gone out of scope. Who is going to be responsible for the extra 50?
The delivery,
Who will be responsible? Am I going to pay for it?
No.
I won't pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay for it because I already told you what I want.
Yeah.
And that's why we do what we call scope management. That's why it's important for you to understand that scope, that word, scope, is critical for you as a delivery project manager. You need to know what is the scope of work that I've been given to do. How do I manage the scope? Listen, because you have a scope does not mean there may not be changes. I told you yesterday that I want 50 jollof rice. Today, I may come back to you to ask you, please, can you change the jollof rice from 50 to 70? When I say that, what would you say to me? What would you say to me as a good business person? I've just changed from 50 jollof rice to 70. What would you say to me?
There will be a change in the cost and the price. We have to negotiate about the cost and the time.
Fantastic. Guys, I'm trying to make this very practical for you. And this is part of the way that we manage scope. It's not a crime that we have scope changes in project management, but you've got to assess the change. Who is making this change? Why is this change important? What is the impact of this change? What is the cost of the change? Those are very critical. These are very important things that we need to know in project management. So listen, tonight, what I want you all to know is delivery management is not difficult. Project management is not difficult. You just need to understand the background to it. You need to understand the basics of it. In project management, we have some tools that we use. Those tools, are you there? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Those tools that we use, can you see what we have there? What did I put there? Project Management Office Toolkit, PMO Toolkit. We will go through this toolkit. You will know what we mean by framework. What do we mean by framework? Within the framework, waterfall that I told you about the other time is a framework. Agile is a framework. Safe is a framework. Lex is a framework. That is a framework. There are many frameworks out there. Every organization uses framework that works for them. We have what we call crystals. We have what we call extreme programming. There are many frameworks. So organizations also work on what we call hybrid. We have what we call Wagile. We have what we call safe Wagile. There are many organizations that have evolved into all of this. As a project manager, as an agile project manager, as a delivery manager, you need to have a knowledge of this. So apart from that, we have some things that we call the control kits. Those control toolkits are what will help you to be able to manage your project. Risk management toolkit, stakeholder management toolkit, communication management toolkit. Those are some of the report. After that, you then go to the report, because the report is what you give out to your stakeholders to let them know how the project is faring, how the project is doing. Does this make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Can you mute everybody, please? I don't know who that person is. Can you please mute them? All right. So what I'm going to do with you next time when we meet, I know you all, you should, if I ask you to define project now, I know many of you would define it in a different way, but because of time, I'm not going to be asking that. When you look at projects, if you look at projects in the context of it, a project is a temporary endeavor. It has a timeline. It is created to deliver a unique product, service, or result. There's budget attached to it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Now, apart from projects, we have what we call program. A program is a collection of related projects. A program is a collection of related projects. So when I say I'm a program manager is somebody that manages projects, not just one project. Now, in Agile, we don't normally call it program manager anymore. We call it delivery manager or delivery lead. Does that make sense, guys? That's where your role comes in. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
A delivery, an agile delivery manager manages more than one project at the time. In government organizations now, they just call it delivery management instead of Scrum Master. But what they are trying to tell you is, we want you to have the skills to be able to manage more than one project at a time. But a delivery lead has taken the position of a program manager. A program is a collection of interrelated projects. We're going to delve into this properly, perhaps next week. And when we talk of portfolio, a portfolio is a collection of programs, projects, BAU, or other related operational work. What is BAU?
What's BAU? Oh, sorry.
What is BAU, guys?
Business as usual.
Business as usual. Business as usual. And I want you all to be able to tell me what business as usual means next week. Okay? Would you all be able to do that for me?
A normal day-to-day operations of a business.
Exactly. Normal day-to-day operation. Oh, my computer is not turning on. Do I need to set up a project for that? Do I need to set up a project for?
No.
Okay. Oh, these cables. The cables are not well connected. Something is happening. Oh, do I need to set up a project for that?
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay, we are moving from number 20 to number 30. We're moving. We're not operating in this office anymore. We want to move to number 30. Do I need to set up a project for that?
No.
No.
Yes.
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 You're wrong, guys. I have to set up a project for that. Why do I have to set up a project for it?
Because it has to do with you have to plan.
every day.
Well, I
But
think
let's
because
do a
that
timeline,
would
budget and scope.
that would have a start and an end time.
You have to plan, you have to
Thank you.
budget, you have to complete.
I love that. So there must be a timeline for it, okay?
Yes.
Because there's a timeline. I want to move from here to there. Can I leave it loose end? No, there must be a timeline. Oh, we have to move in 3 months. We have to move. So all the logistics, don't forget, we have so many things here. The chairs, the tables, the cables, the system. We have to arrange on how to move those things safely. Where we're going, we need to be sure that that place is ready. That is no longer a business as usual. That's a project. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We will delve more into some of this next week when we meet. All right. Now, you also need to understand that as an agile project manager, as a delivery manager, you own the framework. We need to know, you need to understand what framework the organization is following. Every organization must have a framework. If you have studied project management, if you have studied PMI before, you've done PMP exams, or you've studied Prince 2, or you've read Prince 2, you will see that there are stages of project management in it, isn't it? Huh? Though we work in Agile, some organizations, being an Agile project manager, being a delivery manager, they will still insist that they want to see stages at which you want to deliver your projects. And we need to come up with that. You need to be able to define that. The minimum stages you can have in a project, what is it, guys? What's the minimum stages you can have in a project? Does anybody know? Does anybody know?
I think 5 or 3, something.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you for that. Anybody else? What's the minimum stages you can have in a project?
4 stages.
4. Sure. Okay, anybody else?
I think 5.
4 stages.
I love it. Well done.
And I'm going to use the health and safety to say plan, do, act, and review.
Okay, let me bust your bubble. All right. The minimum stages you can have in a project is 2. That's the minimum.
All right.
The minimum you can have. I didn't say how many stages can you have. I said, what is the minimum stages you can have? 2 are the minimum stages. And that is, you can have a start and you can have a finish. Does that make sense? You must start a project. We must have the discovery phase. At the start of that project, the discovery phase, that's where we want to know if this project is worth doing. That is where we write our business case. That's where we write our project charter. We want to justify the reason for that project. And that's what will let us know if we should move forward or we should stop. If we do the first stage and we realize that the project is not going to be beneficial, do we force ourselves to go on?
No.
Should we force ourselves to spend money?
No.
We have to end the project. That's why all those stages are there. We'll delve into it all when we know next year. Any question, guys? Have I helped you tonight?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
I have a short question. Is what do you call it?
Please go for it.
Project delivery manager the same thing with an agile coach?
Pardon?
Is a project delivery manager the same thing with an agile coach? Do they do the same thing?
Agile what?
Agile coach.
No. There are 2 different roles. Okay. An agile coach is not the same as an agile delivery manager. An agile coach does not deliver project for you. An agile coach sits at the position of training, of supporting Scrum Masters, product owners, and people on the management level to understand agile ways of working and to make sure that they are keeping to the process.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Okay, so I have a question.
Please go for it.
Can a Scrum Master in some cases take on the role of a product owner?
Yes, that's possible, but it must be, when we say product owner, a product owner is somebody that has knowledge of the products. Product owner is not just a title. It must be that you know the products. If you don't know the product and you become a product owner, you will own yourself and you'll mess yourself up.
Okay. Okay.
In the real world, yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you so
Anybody
much. One
else?
question is an agile
Yes.
delivery manager the same thing as an agile change manager?
Is what?
ADM
delivery
and
manager?
agile change, yes, agile change manager.
They are not the same role. They are two different roles. For example, I'm a delivery manager, but I have the change management person. I have an agile change management person working for me. Does that make sense?
Okay, working for you or working with you, or you're
working with me.
as a
Working with
okay.
me. I'll put it that way. Working with me. Yes. Not working for me. Working with me. We work together.
I think that is part of what the guy that came on last week was talking about project control as well. Anyway, there's another course for project control. I think we can also ask them as well. Yeah, because in project control, they talk about change management as well. So thank you so much for clarifying that. It's different from, delivery manager anyway, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they are not the same. They are two different roles. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have another question.
Please go for it.
Does
I'm all yours.
Yeah, does one need to do any certification to be an agile delivery manager? This
It will be good for you.
Second part of it is that
you're right. Yeah, how's it going?
Is there any career progression? Where do you start and where do you end?
Okay.
As an agile delivery manager.
Yes. Okay. There is career progression when it comes to project manager or project management. You see, for those that have entered in some ways, in some organizations now, we have people that we call them agile facilitators rather than calling them scrum masters.
Okay.
Now, but they're meant to be scrum masters. Some organizations would just call them agile facilitators because they feel they haven't gotten scrum master experience and they want to train them to become scrum masters. So when we have people like that, we train them to become scrum masters. Once they become scrum masters, then we hand over teams to them. They start to now do the work of facilitator, impediment remover. They take up leadership role and things like that. But from scrum master role, you can either pivot to become an agile coach, or you want to grow to become a delivery manager. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just in the context of you being a project manager. As a project manager, after being a project manager, what next level do you go to? You go to the level of a program manager. I've been a project manager. I've been a program manager. After being a program manager, what do you become? A portfolio manager.
Okay.
So there's career progression. All right. And if you go the pivot of an agile coach, from agile coach, you can get to the level of becoming a consultant.
Okay.
So it's got progressions if you want to.
Okay, you just spoke briefly about the certification and didn't conclude it. Please, could you?
Okay, with the certification, it's important for you to be certified, but it doesn't mean that you can't do things without it. Okay. Why did I say that? Because every organization now would ask, by the time you get a job, once you get a role with them, they would eventually ask you to present your certification.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But initially, that's not the reason. That's not what should stop you from becoming who you need to become in the context of getting a role, start applying for roles. Like if you want to be a Scrum Master now, the first thing you want to do is to make sure you get your hands dirty. You want to become an agile project manager, get your hands dirty. Get to know what needs to be done. The moment you've done all of those, then it becomes easy for you to now say you want to do your certification. Okay. Guys, I've done all the certifications that I've done. When I did my practitioner, some people were crying, like, oh, practitioner is too hard. It wasn't hard for me. Do you know why it wasn't hard? Do you know why what? Can anybody tell me why you think it wasn't? It wasn't hard because this is what I do every day of my life.
Oh yeah, okay. Experience. Yeah.
So by the time they bring the question, I just look at it as, what is this? And I just wrote it, and I finished what I needed to do.
You don't need to memorize anything.
I don't need to memorize anything because it's what I do every day of my life. So people say, oh, it's too hard because it's scenario based. Yes, it's scenario based, but it works for me because that's what I've been doing. So the first thing is you are in the right place. You've come to the right place because here you have opportunity to get your hands dirty. So once you get your hands dirty, writing exams becomes easy. But if all you want to do now is just to go and write exams, you cram it. You'll be memorizing stuff. And even what you write may not make sense to you. I have many Scrum Masters now. Sorry, I don't mean to be this, but most Oyibos, that they will come to me, they will cry to me, I've done this thing, sometimes but I keep failing. And I'll tell them, yes, you keep failing because you really haven't mastered it. Hiya. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thanks for the other time, buddy. You all right? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I found it. So you understand what I'm saying now, right? Get your hands dirty. Writing exams becomes easy, but I would recommend for you to make sure that you write an exams. When you write it, it gives you peace of mind because they will still ask for it. Even if they don't ask for it today, they will still ask for it. When you get the job, they will want to do some verification. And guess what? I really love what Deji was going through with you earlier, telling you about how to prepare your CV and all. That's important. Make sure everything you write there, you have opportunity to learn it here. Make sure it's not just that you write it, make sure you can talk about it and you can do it a little bit. Because once Oyibo catches you that you lied in one, they will feel you have lied in every other one. Does that make sense? I do interviews for people.
Yes.
So I know what I'm saying. The moment I start to conduct an interview, even if we're 3 on the panelists or 4, the moment they want to conclude, they would all look, tell me, what do you think? And I know what they are looking for. I know what I'm looking for when I'm interviewing you for a job. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. Any other question? Hello, buddy. You all right? Any other question?
Yeah, you said something that the Scrum Master guides the team at the team level, while the Agile Delivery Manager is a step ahead of the Scrum Master. It then means from the product delivery, from the product discovery stage, from the beginning of the project or product, the Agile Delivery Manager has to be there.
Yes. From the beginning of the project, the delivery manager is there. Why? Because the delivery manager needs to plan the resources. The delivery manager needs to know how many teams we have. Oh, okay, for this, because we have a product. It's just like when you talk of product owners, we have product managers. We have business analysts, we have product owner, we have product manager. It's the same way when you talk of Scrum Master, you have delivery manager and you have a portfolio manager, Agile portfolio manager. Does that make sense? Now, a delivery manager is the one that will look into the recruits to see how much it's going to cost. How much will it cost us? Should I get people onshore? Should I get people offshore? I'll give you an example. I have a budget. For example, I'm just giving you an example. I have a budget of 10 million pounds for this year, okay? And I know that if I recruit people from, I'm just giving you Oruje, guys, okay? I know that if I recruit people from the UK, they will charge me 500 or 600 pounds per day. The same skills, I can get the same skills from India and they will charge me $200 per day. And I need to manage my budget. If you are me, what would you do?
Please, I'm in Germany. I don't mind 250.
I'm just giving you an example.
Offshore workers.
I'm just giving you an example.
Correct. Yeah.
So you can see, but that's not the job of a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master doesn't know anything about that.
Yes. Yes.
So from the beginning, I need to know, do I need a solution architect? Do I need a data architect? Do I need a data engineer? What's the product we're working on? And I need to be able to manage that end to end. When I get a Scrum Master is coming to manage the product team, to manage the team. And
more or less, you're the driver of the whole project.
Well, we drive it together, but as an Agile delivery manager, you've got to be able to see end-to-end view. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
No. Okay, can Agile delivery manager be in the same team with a project manager, possibly when they're combining waterfall and Agile?
Let me tell you this. In the real world now, in the real Agile world, we don't have project managers anymore. We can have an Agile project manager. And an Agile project manager may be somebody that is working closely with a delivery manager or become the delivery manager himself.
Okay.
There are various contexts, which I don't want to complicate things for you. So there are various contexts to it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you so much, Femi, for that.